Okay, so first things first, let's get our pot boiling, and I'm just gonna turn it on to medium heat. And what I'm about to tell you guys is my little secret that makes my sauce special. And I mean, I can't really claim it as my secret because I learned this recipe through my aunt who lives in Houston, and she learned it through her coworker. So technically it's not my secret, it's the coworker's secret, but you know, it's just been shared among us, and I am now sharing it with you guys. So instead of boiling my seafood in hot water, I boil it in orange soda. And normally I would use Fanta, but this was on sale and it was cheaper, so I'm just gonna use this, but honestly any orange soda would do. So let's go ahead and pour it in. Also, side note, if you do have a bigger pot than this, I would recommend that you use that, but I don't have one. Okay, so while we wait for this to boil, I am going to cut up our potatoes and throw that in there because potatoes take the longest to cook. Quick disclaimer, normally I would be using the little red potatoes, and that is what would be considered correct for this, but I didn't realize that I ran out and this is all I had left, so I am just going to use the regular yellow potatoes that I have. I'm sure you guys can notice that the soda isn't boiling yet, but I'm just gonna go ahead and add it in now so I can get started on other things. That should be good for now. So next up is another, I guess, secret that, well, I don't think it's really a secret ingredient because I have seen a few other recipes use it, but not many people do. So I think that this really adds a lot of flavor into it, and it is celery. Okay, so I'm just gonna add that in. So the next thing that I'm adding in is a whole orange. And I know you're probably wondering how come I'm adding an orange on top of already using orange soda, but I promise you guys, all the orangeness in this is what makes the biggest difference. So the very last thing that I'm gonna add in is some corn, and I'm actually not gonna put that in just yet. I'm gonna add that in at the very end probably. As you can see, this process right here is super simple. If you're looking at this and wondering how come this recipe is so easy, this is just the first part, guys. This is just what you boil your seafood in, and instead of using just regular hot water, I'm just substituting the water for orange soda. I promise you guys, I'm not steering you wrong. All right, so now that we have this going, we could just let it simmer for a little bit so all the flavors can get going and we can get started on our sauce. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do when making your sauce is to melt some butter. I'm just gonna put a ton in here. Okay, so this is how much butter I'm gonna start off with, but it was about like 6 big spoonfuls, if that makes any sense. Sorry guys, I'm really bad at giving measurements. I really just eyeball everything. While you are waiting for your butter to melt, just dice up some onions. You are gonna add this into your sauce along with your garlic at the same time. All right, so while that's melting, I'm gonna add in my onions. And I'm gonna add in my garlic. Probably about like, can you guys see this? Big spoonfuls like that, because it's seafood and you can't be stingy with the garlic, okay? I swear adding garlic makes the biggest difference because it already smells amazing. Okay, so next, another little secret ingredient of mine. I am going to add in some diced celery. And this is just another one of those things that make a huge difference that not a lot of people do, but it does make a difference in how your sauce is going to come out. And I don't have a mincer, so I would have minced the celery up if I had it, but I don't, so I just diced it. Okay, so now I feel like we're finally ready to move on to the fun part now, and that is time to season the sauce. There's nothing special about my recipe here. Like, it's very straightforward, very similar to everybody else's. So I am just using some crab boil seasoning. Just gonna throw that in there. And I'm just gonna add a little bit at a time. I'm just gonna season as I go. You know what? I'm just gonna add the whole packet. Okay, so I want to show you guys what you guys can use if you don't conveniently have the crab boil seasoning on hand. It's really, really simple. So you need some ground paprika, some Cajun seasoning, some Creole seasoning, crushed red peppers, lemon pepper, garlic powder, and some oregano. Even if you do have that seasoning on hand, I'm just gonna add some lemon pepper in, and I'm just gonna go according to taste. I'm adding the oregano in now. Oh my god, so good. And if you like your sauce to be a little spicier like I do, I'm going to add some red pepper flakes in. What? Okay, so this brand of Cajun seasoning specifically, it actually uses smoked paprika. So if you guys have smoked paprika, use that instead because it is going to add a little more flavor than just regular paprika is going to. So good. A little bit more black pepper, and I think I'm good to go. Okay, so next I'm gonna add a little bit of chicken broth, and this really just depends on how you feel like your sauce tastes right now. If it's a little too salty, just add regular water, but if you feel like it could have a little bit more flavor, go ahead and add the chicken broth. Or if you don't have chicken broth, then just use regular water with a chicken cube bouillon or whatever. Okay, so once you get your sauce to your liking, just let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Alright, so my crab legs have been defrosting, and I am just gonna take a knife and just scrub off some of this nasty gunky stuff that normally is on crab legs. And whenever you make crab legs, you're gonna want to make sure you do that because I like suck on the shell. So yeah, if you do that too, you're gonna want to make sure that the shells are clean, or else you're gonna be eating all this nasty stuff. I think everything is nice and defrosted now. But yeah, so this stuff right here, this is gross, and you're gonna want to take that all off. So it just takes a little bit of time, but trust me, you're gonna want to do that as well. Okay, so now that my crab legs are nice and clean, I'm just gonna take this one extra step. I am going to pre-season my crab legs. Okay, so I took some butter and I seasoned it very lightly with a little bit of paprika and Old Bay and black peppers. And it's really just gonna make your crab really just nice and tender and juicy. You're just gonna season this little part of your crab. Put that to the side. So we're almost finished, guys. We are headed towards the end now, and it is finally time to add in our corn. Let that sit for a while. Gonna give that some time to boil. I also got some sausage, so I'm adding that in now. Okay, see, this is why this is why having a tall pot is necessary, because it's like super full in here right now. Okay, so I actually just walked out and walked back in, and the smell just hit me. It seriously smells amazing in here right now, guys. I can't wait for you guys to try this recipe out and enjoy it. Yay, time to get everything started. And I'm gonna actually make everything in batches. So I guess I'm just gonna do like, I guess 3 claws per bag. There's a lot of stuff in here. Let me try to actually take some of it out. I take that out now. Gonna add these shrimps in now. Cook that batch first. this is ready, I am going to pour the sauce into the bag. So I'm actually doing it the hard way because normally I would just pour the whole pot into the bag, but since I'm doing it in batches, I have to actually do it this way instead. But normally it's a whole lot easier if you just pour it in, you know what I mean? Here goes our last step. Just gonna take some parsley and put it in there. Gonna give it a quick shake now to just get it all, to get it all nice and seasoned in there.